We have a major Anthony Davis trade update that honestly would solve everything for the Dallas Mavericks. And out of all of the reports, all the rumors of where Anthony Davis is going, who could be trading for him, this is the one trade package that I love out of all of them that I definitely want to see happen. There are many different things wrong with the Dallas Mavericks offense this season. There's not a lot of spacing, not a lot of three-point shooting. Our offense is one of the worst in the entire league. And honestly, when you watch this Dallas Mavericks team over the last several games, there's only a few small things that need to be tweaked for this team to actually take the next step to being contenders. Obviously, without Anthony Davis or Kyrie Irving, the Dallas Mavericks can only go so far. Any team missing their two best players would also struggle. However, the Dallas Mavericks, who could be interested in moving Anthony Davis, could fix all their problems with one trade, and that one player who could fix a lot of our issues is Karl-Anthony Towns, who's having a down year with the New York Knicks. A lot of fans are already fed up with him, and if the New York Knicks were willing to give up 5 first-round picks for him, maybe they'll trade him for a hurt Anthony Davis. So in this video, we're going to take a look at the reports surrounding Karl-Anthony Towns, see how well he's been playing this year, see what package most likely would have to be made up to get Anthony Davis for Karl-Anthony Towns, as well as what actually does this trade solve. But how's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavs Digest, bringing you the latest news on everything Mavericks related. And before we get started with today's video, we're currently sitting at 23,135 subscribers. We're growing by the day. And if you want to be up to date on everything Mavericks related, from our live streams, our watch longs, news vids, trade rumors, everything else, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on a single thing that we do. But it seems like every single day there's a new team who's magically interested in our own Anthony Davis, which I've said many times, Anthony Davis does have value on the trade market. Although a lot of Mavericks fans don't want him anymore, they just don't see the point of having an aging star who can't stay healthy, especially with a team that is struggling to rack up wins against some of the worst teams in the league. A lot of Mavericks fans want him gone, but they also don't think he has value, which isn't the case. On this channel, we've gone over every little report, every little rumor surrounding Anthony Davis and what his value would be on the open market. We know the Chicago Bulls could be interested in a weird trade to get rid of some contracts. The Charlotte Hornets are interested in trading LaMelo Ball, and the Dallas Mavericks are interested in LaMelo Ball as well. There are many other trade candidates and other teams that would want to trade for Anthony Davis, and we saw the reports. If Anthony Davis were to be traded, he first obviously has to be healthy. Some teams have mentioned that they want to see him lose weight, so that's another thing on top of all of that. But the Dallas Mavericks have a problem. We don't have good spacing at all. Sometimes Cooper Flag is in a good spot. Sometimes he's bunched up with another player. Our big men can't really play that well with space. We've seen Derrick Lively struggle to play alongside Anthony Davis when Anthony Davis kind of sort of wants space the floor. Our offense needs a lot of work. But if there's one player that we could trade to try to retool things around Cooper Flag and the rest of the guys, that player could be Karl-Anthony Towns. The big man who shoots threes from a pretty good clip from New York is having a down season this season with the New York Knicks, and Knicks fans are fed up. They are very vocal about wanting Karl-Anthony Towns gone, that they gave up too much for him and the team's going absolutely nowhere. But if the Knicks were able to be fleeced for him once, maybe they could be fleeced and giving him up again. If we take a look at the official report that came out, the Knicks could go after Anthony Davis if he becomes available, per Ian Begley, saying, "I'm sure the Knicks would at least check in with Dallas if and when Anthony Davis becomes available. You may scoff at the idea, but the Knicks want to win a title this season. If Dallas is offering Davis at below market cost, I'm sure the Knicks will at least give the move some thought." And the one thing from this report that's very interesting is the at below market cost. And that would mean if we were trying to move Anthony Davis today, where we're not waiting for him to get healthy, we're not waiting for him to come back and try to build up some value. If we wanted to trade Anthony Davis right now, it would be at cost. And typically, that would just mean we would get no first-round picks back. We wouldn't get that many draft capital, maybe no young players. But if there's one trade package I did see online that I honestly would pull the trigger on, is this right here, where the Dallas Mavericks get Karl-Anthony Towns and Ariel Hukporti, their backup center, for Anthony Davis. Now, why would the Knicks do this? Well, Anthony Davis wouldn't have to play the 5. They have Mitchell Robinson on the Knicks. He could play the 5. Anthony Davis gets to play the 4. There's a whole lot of moving around with their roster, but the Dallas Mavericks fixed their issue. We are a very solid defensive team. We have one of the best defenses in the league right now, and that's without Anthony Davis playing the majority of the games. But if you add Karl-Anthony Towns, who hasn't really been that best or that good of a defender this season, but you pair him alongside other defenders, then there you go. You can kind of hide him on the defensive end. At least he's about 7 feet tall, so he's got that going for him. But he does help us space the floor. That's another three-point shooter, which could also open up the floor for other people to also hit their three-point shots. We know that Max Christie is one of the league's best three-point shooters right now. Pair him alongside Karl-Anthony Towns, then you got something going on. But how well has Cat been playing this season? Well, like I said, it's been somewhat of a down season. If we take a look at his stats, in 33.5 minutes per game, he's only averaging 21.7 points, 12.5 rebounds, 3.4 assists, 0.8 blocks, 0.9 steals, 2.7 turnovers, and 3.8 fouls per game. And like I said, it is a down year. He's shooting about 42% from the floor and 31% from three, as opposed to his career average of about 39% from three. Last year, he shot about 40% from three. There's many reasons why Karl-Anthony Towns could be having a down year, whether the team doesn't really work as it should. They do have a new head coach. Maybe that's the problem. But if we could get Karl-Anthony Towns in our system, where we allow other players to bring the ball down, where Karl-Anthony Towns doesn't have to play the five, you could easily be the power forward in any situation alongside Daniel Gafford or alongside Derrick Lively, then I think this is a trade that you absolutely have to do. And I'll take it a step further, because we also have another big man who can't really seem to get healthy, and that's in Derrick Lively. If we have to switch in Derrick Lively alongside Anthony Davis for Karl-Anthony Towns and Ariel Hukporti, then so be it. That move would only help the Dallas Mavericks more than anything. The New York Knicks can get rid of a player that they're not happy with. We somehow fleece them. Mark Cuban gets a statue built next to Dirk, and we all go to bed happy. And once when Kyrie Irving returns, then he has that much more weapons at his disposal, as the floor opens up completely different for this Dallas Mavericks team. Our entire offense would change. But if we take a look at this right here, why a Cat for AD trade makes sense for both teams. Here's something that Knicks Union on Twitter tweeted out. You can pause if you want to read. It is a lot, but just really quick. This trade allows the Knicks to still run a two-big lineup with AD and Mitch to match Mobley and Allen, Chet, and Isaiah Hartenstein, the double big lineup that we've been seeing across the league all season, all along, as well as it gives the Mavs the ability to space the floor for Cooper Flagg. One thing I mentioned, he did hit a three in our last game. Hopefully he can hit more. You add Cat, more spacing, more threes. Gives the Mavs the ability to still stay competitive in the West. For those that don't want to rebuild and just do a retool, then this trade may be for you. Gives the Knicks a massive upgrade defensively. Again, we are one of the best defensive teams in the league without Anthony Davis. Trade away Anthony Davis. Get Karl-Anthony Towns back, and I think we could still be as good defensively. This still gives the Knicks the ability to still space the floor, not to the extent of Cat, but still in an effective way. Both their contracts are almost identical. Both teams would have the ability to trade for these pieces seemingly at a discount. Cat's poor play recently and AD's health. So sure, you get rid of a player who isn't playing that well. I'll give you a player that isn't playing, but when he is healthy and playing, he is a really good player. Let me see here. Even with AD's health concerns, the potential ceiling of this roster with him is worth the risk of trading for him. AD stated he wants to play the power forward position. Trade would give him the opportunity to play with a true center and arguably the best offensive rebounder in the league, as well as the Knicks acquired Cat to counter the Celtics in their spacing. But that team doesn't exist anymore, which would lower the importance/value of him on this team long term. And Cat could play the floor alongside Gafford or Lively, or alongside Moussa Cisse, depending on who stays and who goes. Those are a lot of good reasons why this trade makes sense for both teams. Obviously, if Anthony Davis was healthy today, I truly do believe that this trade could go through as early as tomorrow. However, I understand with Anthony Davis being hurt, not having that much trade value on the market, you'd probably have to add something more to this trade. Like I said, maybe throw in Derrick Lively, maybe throw in a few picks, maybe second-round picks. Not trying to get rid of our first-round picks, but you do what you need to do to get this going. Both teams can be happy. Both teams have a long way to go, even if they stay with these players or if they swap them. But that is the first step in the right direction for both organizations. And a few other things that we definitely got to take a look at right here. Leon Rose ruined a young team with so much flexibility on one of the worst defenders in the sport. We need to talk about this. This was after Karl-Anthony Towns lost against the Orlando Magic, putting up 24 points, 6 of 14 from the floor, and 2 of 6 from 3. I mean, if he is your best player, then yeah, I can see why you're upset. But honestly, on the Dallas Mavericks, I'll take that every single night. But like I said, Knicks fans are upset with how Karl-Anthony Towns has been playing, but one of the things that I did want to bring up as to why we should go after him is this right here. Out of all the players in the league, he is third in rebounding, 12.5 rebounds per game. As it stands right now, our best rebounder isn't even a center. It's not Derrick Lively. It's not Anthony Davis. It's not Dwight Powell, Musa Cisse, Daniel Gafford. It's none of those guys. It's P.J. Washington. P.J. Washington is effectively our best rebounder. If we can get him someone else who is leading one of the league leaders in rebounding, that could help us on the rebounding portion, as we can never get second chance points. Our offensive rebounding is horrible. We literally do rely on PJ to get the majority of our boards. But if you add Karl-Anthony Towns, that's second chance points. That's more rebounding. So we don't lose in that department anymore. That on top of the shooting is an asset that the Dallas Mavericks have to capitalize on. And a few other things, like I said, Knicks fans just aren't happy. Dylan Backer, who is a huge Knicks content creator, said, I don't care that he's only played 15 games. I'm very disappointed in Karl-Anthony Towns so far this season, and I really don't have to show you guys anything else. That's the sentiment across the entire Knicks fan base. They are tired of Cat. They believe that they gave up too much for him. They're getting too little back, and they may want to sell low, just like how it said earlier in the report about Anthony Davis being traded to the Knicks. If the Mavs want to sell low on Anthony Davis, then, hey, maybe the Knicks are ready to sell low on Karl-Anthony Towns. But like I said, I truly do like this trade more than any other trade package I've seen. This would fix the Dallas Mavericks, gives the New York Knicks a little bit of hope to survive in the East. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you think this would be a good trade for both teams? Or do you think the Mavs should just stay as they are, trade nothing, and just hope for the best? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. We can have a conversation about it. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure to check out our Twitter and Discord. Links in the description below. And as always, y'all take care. Drink water. Peace.